What if the fat clinging to your belly has almost nothing to do with willpower and everything to do with a quiet fire burning inside your body that you can't even feel? When most people hear the word inflammation, they picture a sore throat, a swollen ankle, a puffy knee. Think about that swollen knee for a second. Walking hurts, running is impossible. The joint simply refuses to work properly. That kind of inflammation is your body doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It shows up, handles the problem, then disappears. But there's a second, far sneakier type of inflammation, one that never fully switches off. It runs quietly in the background, a constant low hum of noise you can't directly sense. Internally, your organs stop working at their best. Stubborn belly fat refuses to shift no matter what you eat. Afternoon energy crashes hit you out of nowhere. Sleep turns restless, and exhaustion becomes your baseline. Your thinking clouds over, memory slips, and holding a train of thought past a couple of steps feels harder than it should. Your knees and back ache more than they're supposed to. And worst of all, your metabolism starts feeling like it's actively working against you, no matter how hard you try. This is chronic inflammation, and it's one of the most underrated forces shaping your health, especially once you cross 35. Today, I'm handing you 10 foods that directly target this problem, calm that inflammation down, and make stubborn belly fat far easier to lose. The very first food on this list surprises almost everyone because most people don't even think of it as food. It usually sits in a medicine cabinet rather than a kitchen, yet the research behind it is remarkable. In one study, people using it saw a 34% bigger drop in their primary blood marker for inflammation compared to everyone else. This is exactly the kind of protocol my clients pay real money for, and I'm handing it to you completely free. Quick introduction first, since we'll be spending the next several minutes together. I'm Dr. Michael Diamond, a medical doctor, a scientist with a background in biochemistry and microbiology, a natural bodybuilder, and the founder of Sculpt by Science, where my team and I help clients bring down inflammation and lose fat every single day. So let's not waste another second and get straight into it. Food number 1 is cod liver oil, and it deserves the top spot as arguably the most powerful anti-inflammatory food you can add to your routine. Here's what separates it from every other omega-3 source on this list. Regular fish oil supplies EPA and DHA, the two fatty acids your body needs to manufacture anti-inflammatory compounds. Cod liver oil, though, delivers EPA and DHA plus vitamin D, vitamin A, and vitamin E, all working together as a team. That combination appears to be exactly why cod liver oil outperforms every other omega-3 source when researchers measure inflammation directly. There's one term worth remembering here. CRP, short for C-reactive protein. This is the specific blood marker doctors rely on to measure inflammation throughout your body, essentially the gold standard number we watch. In a study involving more than 1,000 recreational athletes, published in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition, researchers tracked CRP levels before and after a 91-kilometer cycling race, measuring inflammation both before and after that grueling ride. The results were striking. Cyclists who took cod liver oil showed a 34% lower CRP response compared to those who took no omega-3 supplementation at all. And notably, this effect only appeared clearly in the cod liver oil group, not in people using other omega-3 sources. Researchers believe the vitamins D, A, and E riding along with cod liver oil are doing something regular. Fish oil simply can't manage alone. Either those vitamins protect the omega-3s from breaking down before they can do their job, or they're layering their own separate anti-inflammatory effects right on top. Cod liver oil isn't some outdated remedy from your grandmother's cabinet. It's one of the oldest, most evidence-backed anti-inflammatory tools we have available today. Here's how to actually use it. Take 1 teaspoon of high-quality cod liver oil daily, ideally with food, to avoid any digestive discomfort. Look for a brand that's third-party tested, stored in a dark bottle to protect it from heat and light degradation. And if the taste isn't your thing, let's be honest, it's not going to win any flavor awards. High-quality capsules deliver the exact same benefit without the spoon. So tell me in the comments, had you ever used cod liver oil before, or did you even realize it carried this much power against inflammation? Stick around, because food number 2 tackles inflammation through a completely different route, and it happens to be one of the richest anti-inflammatory foods found anywhere on the planet. That food is wild-caught salmon, and honestly, it's the entire reason cod liver oil opened this list in the first place. The omega-3 fatty acids inside salmon, specifically EPA and DHA, get converted by your body into signaling compounds, some that ramp inflammation up, others that calm it down. The ratio between omega-3s and omega-6 fats in your overall diet determines which direction that balance tips. Most modern diets are absolutely loaded with omega-6 fats, the unhealthy kind found in processed foods, seed oils, and grain-fed meat. When omega-6 intake runs high, your body manufactures far more pro-inflammatory compounds than anti-inflammatory ones, essentially leaving an alarm blaring nonstop. The EPA and DHA found in salmon compete directly against those omega-6 fats, integrating into your cell membranes and shifting that balance back toward calm. More anti-inflammatory compounds get produced, and that alarm gradually quiets down. Human trials consistently confirm that regular fatty fish consumption lowers CRP, the same marker we discussed earlier. Wild-caught salmon specifically carries significantly higher omega-3 concentrations than farmed varieties, making the sourcing genuinely matter here. To put this into practice, aim for 2 to 3 servings weekly of salmon, mackerel, or sardines, or mix and match between them. These remain the most practical, affordable ways to get meaningful EPA and DHA into your diet consistently. Food number 3 might genuinely surprise you, and it earns its spot on this list for good reason: tart cherries. They contain a natural compound called anthocyanins, the same pigment responsible for that deep red-purple color found in cherries, blueberries, strawberries, and raspberries. These compounds tackle chronic inflammation through 2 distinct mechanisms working simultaneously. First, anthocyanins calm that same inflammatory pathway targeted by ibuprofen, not through an identical mechanism, but arriving at a strikingly similar result: less production of pro-inflammatory compounds and a quieter internal alarm. Second, they lower uric acid, a waste byproduct created when your body breaks down certain foods. When uric acid accumulates in your bloodstream, it triggers inflammatory responses throughout your entire body, not just in the joints where you typically notice the discomfort. A 4-week randomized controlled trial found that daily tart cherry consumption produced a 23% reduction in CRP, and remarkably, a 37% drop in plasma uric acid compared to a placebo group of healthy adults. Both inflammatory markers dropped together, simultaneously. Tart cherry concentrate remains the most practical daily option here. Use 1 to 2 tablespoons of tart cherry juice concentrate mixed into water each day, making sure to choose a version with no added sugar. Frozen tart cherries blended into a smoothie work beautifully too, offering an excellent whole food alternative if you can find them. Food number 4 is extra virgin olive oil, and its power comes from a compound called oleocanthal, a natural anti-inflammatory that works through the exact same biological pathway as ibuprofen. When researchers first identified oleocanthal, they noticed fresh extra virgin olive oil produced that same distinctive peppery burn at the back of the throat that ibuprofen causes. A researcher tasting olive oil in Italy actually noticed the similarity himself, investigated ibuprofen's mechanism thoroughly, and traced the connection directly. That throat burn hits the exact same receptors ibuprofen activates. And just like ibuprofen, oleocanthal blocks the enzymes responsible for producing pro-inflammatory compounds throughout your body. Every tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil you consume delivers a small, steady dose of natural anti-inflammatory support. The key word here is extra virgin. Regular olive oil undergoes processing that destroys the beneficial oleocanthal entirely, so seek out cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil specifically to preserve those anti-inflammatory benefits. Practically speaking, swap out your vegetable and seed oils for extra virgin olive oil in your cooking. Better yet, use it as a salad dressing base, drizzled over food with some lemon and vinegar mixed in. Store it in a dark bottle away from heat, and check for a harvest date on the label to confirm freshness. Food number 5 covers an entire category: fermented foods, including sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, plain yogurt with live cultures, and kombucha. These earn their place because of what they do for your gut, and what happens in your gut has a measurable, direct effect on inflammation markers throughout your entire body. Roughly 70% of your immune system lives in and around your digestive tract. The community of bacteria living there, known as your gut microbiome, communicates directly with your immune system. When that microbiome is diverse, packed with beneficial bacteria, your immune system stays strong yet calm. Researchers at Stanford ran a randomized controlled trial published in the journal Cell in 2021, testing this connection directly. 36 healthy adults were split between a high fermented food diet and a high fiber diet for 10 weeks straight. The fermented food group showed a genuine increase in microbiome diversity, which makes sense given all those beneficial bacteria they were consuming daily. They also showed reduced levels of 19 separate inflammatory proteins in their blood, including interleukin-6, the marker mentioned earlier. 4 distinct types of immune cells showed reduced activation as well. Here's the truly surprising part. The high-fiber group showed almost none of these benefits. Fermented foods beat fiber for lowering inflammation consistently every single time. So make it a habit to eat at least 1 serving of fermented food daily. Plain yogurt with live cultures works perfectly at breakfast, or try a small serving of sauerkraut or kimchi at lunch, dinner, or both. Rotate between different fermented foods you actually enjoy, since each one introduces different beneficial bacteria strains to your gut. Now let's move to food number 6. Turmeric paired with black pepper. Turmeric has featured in traditional medicine for thousands of years, thanks to a compound called curcumin, the source of turmeric's deep yellow color. Curcumin ranks among the most researched natural anti-inflammatory compounds available anywhere. It works by blocking a molecule called NF-kappa B, essentially the switch that turns inflammation on inside your cells. When that switch flips on, pro-inflammatory compounds start getting produced throughout your body. Curcumin interrupts that signal right at the source, shutting the alarm off before it even sounds. There's one catch, though. Curcumin on its own is poorly absorbed by your body. That's where black pepper enters the picture, containing a compound called piperine that boosts curcumin absorption by an astonishing 2,000%. Turmeric without black pepper is only a fraction as effective as turmeric paired with it. Add half a teaspoon of turmeric powder along with a pinch of black pepper to your eggs, stir it into soup, or mix it into warm milk daily. Combining that pairing with a bit of fat is exactly what maximizes your curcumin absorption. Food number 7 earns its spot through oxidative stress reduction, and this matters enormously for inflammation. Oxidative stress is essentially cellular damage caused by unstable molecules called free radicals. Think of rust slowly forming on metal. When oxidative stress runs high, it directly triggers inflammatory responses throughout your entire body. More rust means more alarm bells ringing, and more alarm bells mean more chronic inflammation building up over time. Blueberries contain the highest concentration of polyphenols found in any food on the planet, and these polyphenols rank among the most effective natural compounds for neutralizing that rust, calming oxidative stress at its source. Think of blueberries as your rust inhibitor, the compound actively stopping that corrosion before it spreads. Human studies consistently show blueberries reduce oxidative stress while improving the inner lining of your blood vessels. Simply grab a handful of berries daily, frozen works just as well as fresh, and stir them into kefir, mix them into Greek yogurt, or enjoy them straight as a quick snack. Food number 8 brings us to walnuts, an exceptionally powerful anti-inflammatory nut working through 3 separate pathways simultaneously. The first is alpha-linolenic acid, known as ALA, essentially the plant-based version of omega-3 fatty acids. ALA carries real potency, comparable to the EPA and DHA found in salmon or cod liver oil discussed earlier, adding meaningful, consistent daily support. Walnuts also contain compounds called elagitannins, a type of polyphenol that your gut bacteria convert into another compound known as urolithin, which carries genuine anti-inflammatory activity of its own, one of the reasons walnuts stand apart from other nuts. The third contribution walnuts make is vitamin E, one of the most important fat-soluble antioxidants your body relies on, protecting your cell membranes from that same rust-like damage while working alongside omega-3s to bring inflammation down further. Think of walnuts as a steady daily habit supporting broader anti-inflammatory function, not some single magic bullet that'll crash your CRP levels the way cod liver oil does. Include a handful daily, capping around 30 grams maximum, stirred into oats, mixed into yogurt, or scattered over salad. Raw or roasted both work fine, just skip the salted, flavored varieties, and be careful not to overeat them, since it's remarkably easy to go overboard with walnuts. Next up is green tea, a food that's sat on healthy eating lists for decades, though most people don't actually understand how it fights inflammation and supports easier fat loss. The key compound here is EGCG, short for epigallocatechin gallate, a type of catechin found in high concentration within green tea leaves. EGCG blocks that same NF-kappa B pathway discussed earlier with curcumin, the switch that turns inflammation on inside your cells. When EGCG blocks that pathway, production of pro-inflammatory compounds slows down noticeably. This effect proves more pronounced in people who already carry elevated inflammation markers rather than those starting from a low baseline, meaning the people who need it most benefit the most. Aim for 2 to 3 cups brewed daily, or use the whole leaf directly in the form of matcha. one important detail. Never use boiling water. Keep it around 80 degrees Celsius, since water that's too hot breaks down the EGCG you're actually after. It's one more reason the Japanese consistently rank among the longest living populations on Earth. This really is close to a genuine superfood. Which brings us to food number 10, the final entry on this list. One single Brazil nut a day, just one. Here's why that tiny amount matters so much. Brazil nuts are the single richest food source of selenium found anywhere on the planet. One Brazil nut alone contains 70 to 80 micrograms of selenium, while the standard daily recommendation sits around 55 micrograms. A single nut already exceeds that target. So what's the connection between selenium and inflammation? It turns out to be essential, not optional. Your body manufactures its own anti-inflammatory enzyme called selenoprotein, and selenium serves as the literal raw material those enzymes are built from. Without adequate selenium in your system, your body simply cannot produce enough of these enzymes to keep chronic inflammation properly in check. Think of selenium as the essential building block. Your body needs to construct its own internal anti-inflammatory defense, and without it, those tools never get made. Research on this connection remains remarkably consistent. Low selenium levels correlate directly with higher inflammation markers across the board. That said, don't exceed 2 to 3 Brazil nuts daily, since excessive selenium intake can actually become toxic. 1 nut a day is the genuine sweet spot, 2 is pushing it, but still within reason. Store your Brazil nuts in the refrigerator to prevent those healthy fats from turning rancid, and enjoy one alongside your morning yogurt or simply with your coffee to start the day. Those are your 10 foods. And consistency matters far more than perfection here. Eating them occasionally won't move the needle, but working one into your routine every single day builds a cumulative effect that eventually becomes impossible to ignore. Your body starts feeling lighter, your training improves, all that hard work finally starts paying off, your sleep deepens, your recovery speeds up, and nagging pain starts fading into the background. If you're curious exactly how chronic inflammation is showing up in your own blood work right now, and what those specific numbers actually mean for your fat loss journey, my team of doctors at Sculpt by Science examines over 100 blood biomarkers for every single client, inflammation markers included. If you want a plan built entirely around your own blood work, backed by someone who genuinely cares and understands the reality of being busy, stretched thin, running a company, or a demanding career, click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen. Fill out a short application, and you'll speak directly with one of my doctors, no pressure attached whatsoever. Every single person who's had a conversation with my team has told me they walked away from that call better informed than when they started. It's simply an honest conversation about what's genuinely happening inside your body, and you'll walk away with real clarity. If you want to understand exactly how to combine food and training strategically, fill out that application, and I'll see you on the other side. And if you're hungry for the bigger picture, my video on going from 30% body fat down to 10% is exactly what you should watch next. Keep putting one foot in front of the other, especially on the days you don't feel like it.